Welcome to Envision Radio from the United Way of Greater Charlottesville and City of Promise and News Radio 98.9, 1070 AM, WINA, and brought to you by the Jefferson School Foundation with Markiana and Price here with you downtown in the studio. And today we're going to be introducing and joined by Kelsey Waters, the provider, network coordinator, and the Network2Work Coach, a proud veteran of the United States Air Force, and we want to thank you for having you today. Thank you for having us today.
Thank you so much.
We're having her.
We're having her. She's actually the star.
We are
charged. Thanked.
We took a week. We took a week off.
I know.
And lost the plot entirely.
I'm not gonna lie to you. You got me really twisted when you was like, "What you doing after this?" Before that, and it like jarred me. I'm not gonna even. We won't get into it. But you jarred me because I remembered something I was trying to forget. Yeah, no. I was like, oh God, he reminded me.
That's like right before you go on air. You're like, oh, by the way, you got evicted from your
yes.
house. And action.
And then I gotta go on the TV and pretend everything all right. I'm like, I'm over here reading the words, but I'm like, oh my God. Well, thank you for coming on today. We're excited to have you, and yeah.
Of course, I'm excited to be here. This is fun.
This is man. So we're in spring, we think. Maybe.
What are y'all talking about? It was 30 degrees yesterday.
Did we make it? Yeah, but it was 80 degrees last week. What do we think?
It's fake. It's fake.
Are we buying it, or is this the fake spring?
It's a fake spring.
This is the fake spring?
I think this is because I've had tomatoes that I got 2 weeks ago that I've been trying to put in this ground.
Yeah.
Man.
No, sir.
They frostbitten if you put them down there.
I know. They just in my basement chilling. I keep spritzing them. I'm like, I'm sorry, y'all.
Not an ideal environment.
Yeah, I had on a thin jacket the other day, and
yes.
I was freezing. I was like, oh, well, I underestimated though.
Yeah. But it's warm in the afternoon.
It is.
It was been 50. It was 50.
That's nice. I could do that.
50 is not nice. Yeah. 70 is nice.
There we go. That's the one.
50 is cold.
No,
you need a jacket.
50's not cold. 50's not
you
cold.
got on a sweatshirt. Why you got on a sweatshirt right now if it's not cold?
Shorts and a sweatshirt. That's that. Okay, what's your ideal setup? Mine, shorts and a sweatshirt. That 50 to 60?
I'm always in a pants.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
always with a pants and a shirt.
Okay. Yeah, if I can go long up top, short on the bottom.
People, that's how Perfect. A gym teacher do.
Perfect.
Your gym teacher from middle school never wore pants. I never saw my gym teachers in pants, not once.
Man, there was a kid that I went to school with here. Shout out to him if he's listening. But I did not see that man. I went to school with him from the 5th grade through graduation. Uh-huh. The first time I saw him in pants was the day that we graduated high school.
His knees were never a mystery to you.
Never.
I think every high school had at least a couple of those kids. Yeah. Like even in the snow, they're wearing sandals and shorts. Yeah, no, and
he would be wearing some duck boots.
Yeah, that's right.
Some gym shorts.
Yep. Yeah.
And a sweatshirt, maybe a puffy coat if his mama got a hold of him beforehand. But that's it. But
it's
the knees
crazy.
Was out.
Yeah, one time I saw a person in shorts in the snow. I was like, oh,
yeah,
you one of them.
Yeah, it
just seems
like
that's a bridge too far, right? Like that's. No.
But you said that's your average go-to, or do you? I don't think I've ever seen. Yes, I have.
I definitely wear pants when it's cold. I wear
I've seen you in pants, so that was a lie.
My go-to is just strictly like comfort, like whatever, right?
Me too.
Like whatever is comfortable,
pants,
right?
Comfortable pants.
But I would rather be cold than hot. That's the thing. I would rather air chilly than hot. Right? So I would rather wear shorts in the fall than pants in the... Right? You're saying, so I would rather go like today. If I wore pants today, I'd be like, ooh, a little too hot. I'd rather be just a tick chilly than feel like I'm hot.
No.
Really?
I don't want to be chilly.
Really?
That's you're gonna die. It's the hypothermia. It's as the elders say, it's pneumonia weather. Price. It's literally like you had your baby in a jacket yesterday, and you're gonna have your baby in a jacket today because it's supposed to get up to 70. It's like your baby is not accustomed to this type of changes.
You gotta make sure they got socks on.
Hypothermia. Oh, people love the socks.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you better
bring a baby out here with no socks and see how much vitriol you get from the community.
I'm trying to tell you.
The elders will be after you.
Like they say, put a jacket on that baby.
Yeah, where's that baby's hat?
Where that baby hat at?
Oh my Lord.
So I'd rather be hot.
All right, Kelsey, what about you? Hot?
I am I would rather be hot. Like this last week, I finally put away my heater.
Me too.
From my desk.
I put my heater away too.
When I tell you, I just broke that thing back out this week.
No, so I didn't break it back out. I felt like shameful. I was
got
like,
a heater in there?
It felt like I was guilty. I was like, I put you away and I can't bring you out, so I've just been freezing.
Oh no,
He was like, whatever. I made a little mistake and I'm okay.
Bad.
I didn't put mine back out because it's like You're not that cold.
Well, so
that's what. Thank you. You got a heater in there?
Where we are
in my house.
Oh no, in my office.
I was about to say, I thought you were hiding one under the desk.
No,
yeah, that's what I got.
I just stay there and freeze.
Oh,
can't fit my hands.
No, ma'am. No, where my office is, at the college, because we have the pantry and stuff there. It gets a little chilly because we're right by the loading dock. And then also we try to keep it colder in there so that way our produce stays good for longer. So, yeah, I was like, it's not, no way. No thank you.
Man. The, Kelsey, you said when you went to school here, where were you in the Charlottesville?
So I went to Venable, Walker, Buford, Tandem, and then CHS.
What did you just name one or two schools?
That's all my schools.
Is that a list of schools? Okay. So what is it again?
So Venable for elementary, and then I went to Walker.
Okay.
And then I went to Buford for 7th grade. I did 8th and 9th at Tandem, and then I did 10 through 12 at CHS. Go Black Knights.
My goodness. And you're Albemarle, right?
Jackson via Walker Buford.
Oh, okay.
Then CHS Albemarle.
Oh, CHS and Albemarle.
We moved as I was in 9th grade. So yeah, all the city kids go to Walker Buford, so everybody goes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just one thing.
The 6 elementary schools go all into one.
Yeah, that's why you can't walk anywhere here and not know somebody.
I know.
That's crazy.
That's how a small town is.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to us about how high school was, how it was here growing up.
I mean, I love Charlottesville. I left when I was in the Air Force. I came back. My kids are here. Like, it's a really comforting town for me, which is weird because at the same time we have a lot of shenanigans.
We do have a lot of shenanigans.
But I know, like, it's kind of like when you've been around somewhere for so long, you know where everything is and what things are doing, so you know what to anticipate. But yeah, no, I loved all of my schooling here. I just ran into recently my teacher from elementary school, Mr. Hunter. And when I tell you I saw him, and I hadn't seen him in years, and I cried. I was so excited because he was my favorite teacher. I was like, oh my goodness.
Was he still teaching?
He is still teaching.
That's crazy.
He's still.
If it weren't for them old heads, we'd be in trouble.
I'm trying to tell you, man. Yeah. And it was cool. He was one of the first teachers that I had that really wanted me to think and stuff like that, and then also to be a young black kid and then to see a black man as a teacher and to have one in elementary school, that's crazy.
Not a whole lot of that.
I don't think I had one until I got to college.
Yeah,
I didn't have a black teacher the whole time.
I had one at Jacksonville. Mr. Red was a music teacher in 2nd grade, and I remember him to this day.
Yeah,
you
vividly.
never forget your first.
Yeah.
And Eric Johnson. Were you there when Eric Johnson was at Walker?
I think I was.
Yeah, he was a math teacher.
Yeah,
I
think I was.
That's Jay's dad. Or muralist.
Eric Johnson is? That person wasn't a principal, right?
Yeah, he's been a principal.
Oh, then I do know who that is.
Yeah.
He used to do a teetering thing at some church.
Yeah. Okay.
When I was in college, he used to help us match with kids and tutor them at the church.
Okay, yeah.
JP, not JP, cool. Whatever it's called. But yeah, we used to go to church every Thursday and we used to help tutor the kids. So I do know him. I didn't know they was related though.
See?
Oh my God, small
Charlottesville. That's how it is. That's how it is.
That's right. Everybody knows somebody who knows somebody.
Who knows somebody?
Knows something about it.
So, tell us a little bit. You graduated from CHS and tell us what you did next.
So after that, I joined the Air Force, which was probably the single coolest thing. I'm not even going to sit here.
What made you decide to do that?
I come from a military family.
Okay.
So my grandpa was in the Navy. He was the first black man to achieve his rank in the Navy. He was the Force Master Chief Petty Officer of the Pacific Fleet. And he was really cool. He got to go all over. He went to Antarctica. He did some cool stuff.
Whoa,
man.
They got military bases in Antarctica.
The Navy goes everywhere, man.
Wow.
And he did some really, really cool things. And so I knew I wasn't ready to go to college. I was like, I am not mature enough to be able to be completely on my own like this, man. And also, college is expensive. And you know what? You do your 4 years in the military. Guess what? It's free. So,
yeah.
I'm glad nobody told me that.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. People don't know.
Nobody told you that.
I told that.
Yeah.
Did they pay for it?
Oh my goodness.
I'm not gonna lie.
That's the selling point.
I'm not gonna lie. I used to walk by the little table and keep walking, keep it kicking.
Which I mean, that's
because I know I won't go one. So, but I'm not built for it.
I am surprised that in Orange in particular,
they're there.
Oh, okay.
They are there.
Oh, okay.
But it's la 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 la. La 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 la.
Yeah. No, I get it. I understand war.
La 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 la. La 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 la.
No, and that's real.
Literally, I'm looking the other way. Don't even look at me.
Fair enough.
No, that's real. And I wasn't, and don't get me wrong, like I was like, hey, I knew, I was like, I'm not going into the Army. Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to deal with the Marine Corps.
Sure.
So I thought about going into the Navy, and I asked my grandpa, and I was like, you need to try going to the Air Force first. Okay. You can't get into the Air Force and go to the Navy. And I met my recruiter, who was this super duper cool, really tall, I think she played basketball, black woman with this huge bun. And I was like, this is great. I love that you're in charge of things. What are you doing? How are you in charge? And this was literally like, it was the most recruitery thing ever. But so I'm speaking with her, and then her kind of second comes in, and I had seen this like brand new Charger pull up, which is the biggest military stereotype.
No, that's the biggest. I'm gonna say everybody I know in the military got a Charger. You got a Charger outside?
Like, no. When I tell you, I was like, and I could get a new car. Hold up, what is this?
Yep.
And they were like, yeah, you can go anywhere in the world. And so I was like, cool. I love going places. I want to travel.
I love this Charger.
Yeah, you're telling me everything I want to do.
Oh, Lordy.
And so I went in open general, which means that I did not have a job when I signed my contract, which don't do that, y'all. I lucked out, but don't do that.
Yeah. Word to the wise.
But, and then I got selected to be a photojournalist, which is single-handedly the coolest job in the military. Because you get to take pictures of everyone else doing their jobs that may or may not suck. Yeah, so awesome. It was pretty dope. And then I ended up getting stationed in England, which was really cool, and also not very common. It's not usual to go overseas for your first duty station necessarily. And so I got to live my Harry Potter fantasy. I was running around. I was like, I'm going to Hogwarts. This is great. So I got to live there for a couple of years, and it was the funnest time ever. Man, it really was. It was so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty dope. I liked it.
So you were still a photojournalist?
Oh
in England too?
Yeah. So which is really it really is the best job, because basically all you're doing is you're taking pictures of you have to take pictures of things for historical documentation, but also each base is kind of like its own little town. So they have their own newspaper, they have their own social media, like all that kind of stuff. And there's somebody that runs all of those things. But also the big kind of thing that people don't realize about public affairs is anytime you are watching the TV or, watching a movie or something, and there's somebody that's in uniform, they have to have somebody who is actually in the military telling them like, hey, this is like as a consultant. Oh, okay. And so that's also the other aspect of like the job. So while I was in England, we had the show 24 come film on my base. Yeah, which was really cool. I didn't get to see it, but I did.
Show in general?
I didn't. Yeah, no, I wasn't there for that, but they kept calling my phone, and I thought it was like a prank, and so I kept hanging up on them. And then I got like yelled at by my supervisor. He was like, "That's real." I was like, "I don't know why they're calling me."
Why is Kiefer Sutherland on my phone?
Yeah,
that was when they had less spam calls than they got these days.
Yeah, man. Oh my goodness.
You can't keep your information safe. They got your number and everything.
If I get one more text about an easy pass,
I know.
That's Lord.
I know. We owe money, please.
The easy pass and the USPS ones.
The USPS.
Those ones get me.
Please, it gets stuck at the border. Well, then keep it there.
Right. Yeah, ain't nobody sending me nothing.
But I guess I won't get my my shower cap.
That's right.
I don't know.
Exactly. It's gonna stay where it's at. I'm not doing it.
And so you do your stint there, and so how do you get back to Charlottesville, and then what do you do after that?
So I found out that I was expecting my lovely children. I have a set of twins. They're 10 now. Wow. Yeah, a boy and a girl. I lucked out, and I was like, hey, dog, it's about time for me to roll out. The
American dream.
America, I'm gone. Bye. And so, I came back home to have my kids, and I just kind of I've been in Charlottesville ever since. I love it here. It's a good place to have small people. It was a little bit weird during the COVID, but we halfway back now. So, but yeah, no, it was a excellent place to kind of get my bearings and stuff like that, and really get back to work.
And when you got back, when you got out, and so you got out and you're new mom and sort of career transition, what is the next step?
So actually, hilariously enough, the next step was Network2Work.
Really?
Yeah, really.
I don't know why I thought there was going to be some in-between pieces.
No, so not working for Network2Work. I was actually a job seeker. I was in the first batch of job seekers that they had. Yeah. I think I was in the first 30 people to sign up for Network2Work.
Ever?
Ever, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk about getting in on the ground floor.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And so, because I had known, and this was even true when I was in the Air Force, I had known that eventually what I thought I'd wanted to do was to be a nurse.
Huh.
And so, Network2Work was having a group basically that was going through, and they're like, we're going to pay for you to get your CNA license.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool, let me at least try this to make sure I'm not squeamish or something, because there's nothing worse than you go through all this stuff for medical school or whatever, and then you find out you can't deal with blood or something. And so I was like, let me try this. Turns out I loved that. It was very similar to, especially because my kids were so young, because they were younger than 2 at this point. It was really funny because during clinicals, I would, wake up, get them dressed, get them fed, get them changed and everything like that. And then I would go to my clinical rotation, and I would do the same thing with my old people. In the same order. And I enjoyed it a lot. And that's kind of how I had first, heard about Network2Work. I was able to get my CNA license, and then go from that to going to school at Piedmont, which was really, really great. And I ended up working for their Veterans Affairs office for a while as a federal work study, and working with Miss Jackie Fisher, who's really cool. And I took all of the prereqs for the nursing program at Piedmont. And while I was doing that, I started working at the student-run branch of. I've done a lot of things, y'all. Sorry, this is gonna be a list.
No, I like it.
This is what the show's all about.
I like it when people do other stuff. I'm trying to diversify my stuff.
Man, I'm a jack of all trades. But so I started working at the student-run branch of the UVA Community Credit Union. I ended up managing that, and I was like, "Hey, you know what I like more than anatomy? Numbers."
Math,
as one does,
yeah, right.
Perfectly reasonable transition. Yeah. No, you hear that all the time.
Isn't nursing just like the bank?
Most accountants are just ex-nurses.
Yeah,
but that's what I've heard. Yeah.
And so I ended up switching my major to business, because I was like, as fun as taking care of other people is, and I enjoy taking care of other people, there are other ways to do that than in the medical field. And I got 2 kids. I'm not trying to work a 12-hour shift overnight.
No, that's right.
That's more power to you if you can do that. But I was like, that's going to be, that might be a little bit tricky for me. So I switched my major, graduated from Piedmont, and got a job at the Keller Williams Alliance real estate brokerage, doing all of their financials and stuff like that. So I was my agent's favorite person, because I was the one that released their commission. And I did that for a couple of years, which was a crazy time to do real estate.
Was it the housing crash?
This was before that. So this was I did my first interview the week after the world opened up again after COVID.
People were just selling stuff. It was just like a casino.
It really was.
Yeah.
I have never seen...
selling their house?
So in this town, you're talking about late 2021, early 22, And it was when Charlottesville sort of got that Zoomtown vibe. And so people were just buying houses sight unseen for atrocious sums of money.
Are you not seeing them?
So like people from D.C., like, I mean, it was a thing. I was talking to a couple of my friends about it. Where they were like, if you have like a house in Belmont right now, take what you would sell it for, add $100,000 to it, and someone will buy it today. And so
probably for cash.
Yeah, people were just like coming from like D.C., right? Because they're like, I'm working remotely. I don't want to live in the Beltway.
We don't have to live in D.C. We can
but
come
I'm making
out.
D.C. money, so I work for PwC. I'm a consultant that make D.C. money. I can work down here. I can go to D.C. once a week.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But that $600,000 house, you're like, all right, bet. Yeah.
Too easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there was while I was there, the time that houses were on the market, like it was 3 days maybe. Like it was literally, it was grand opening, grand closing. Like, it was crazy.
We didn't even let the market sit. They saw us typing in the information to put the house on. They said, well, we want it.
Yeah, it was. And they were going for, over asking, sight unseen. People were waiving their home inspections. Yeah. People were paying cash.
Without no inspection?
No inspection, no nothing.
People crazy. I'm not buying or selling no thing.
Here's the number on Friday. By Sunday morning.
Yeah, done. It was it's crazy. Like it was really, I remember my next door neighbor, or 2 doors down, they were selling their house. And it's actually really funny because this was before I worked for Keller Williams, but the agent who sold it ended up being one of my agents at Keller Williams. And the house was on the market. Like literally they're like, we're having an open house. And then they didn't have an open house because
then you got to come to the open when we sold it.
Hey, it's gone. We're done. Like it was so quick. I had it was the wildest thing to witness. And then it ended up, we were like, oh, houses are taking a little bit longer. They weren't. It was like a week and a half. Yeah, like a week. Oh, no.
Yeah, right.
Meanwhile, like before all of this, a house could sit for a little while, but absolutely not. It was a crazy time. So I did that for a little while, which was really, really fun. It was, as somebody who had, taken a lot of like econ classes and stuff like that, it was really cool to like watch the market in action, but also at the same time.
At the speed it was going to.
Yeah, at the speed. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then also though, it was very corporate. And so like, as much as like I was doing fun things and, my realtors and stuff were like really great people and whatnot. And being a realtor for some of them, like they were making life-changing money for themselves. You're also like, oh no, man, are we the bad guy?
I saw a post about, it was like every industry, no matter how big or so small, once you're there for a while, you start to see how the sausage is made.
Exactly.
Every business, every lane of business there's a sausage making part.
Oh, absolutely.
There's like, dang.
Yeah, no.
I didn't know it worked like this.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like you're watching people who like already have like significant amount of money being able to price out other people with their significant amounts of money to buy like this resource that everybody doesn't even have anyway to begin with.
And everybody needs to have.
Everybody needs. And so, I was working in that, and that got a little bit draining and hard. And it was also a very odd time because at the same time I was working there, I was also on the board of the Haven. I'm still on the board of the Haven. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I was like, hey,
work hand in hand.
So that was the other thing was it was really easy for me to see where this was messing people up.
Yeah, the disparities were growing, the gaps
I'm
were growing.
watching it on both sides.
Yeah.
Like, and so, like I said, there are a lot of realtors that do really good things. Like I also saw quite a few do like pro bono work, so they would waive their commissions and stuff like that for first-time home buyers. And there are a lot of really good people that do that, but also a lot of the people that are buying up these properties, not necessarily excellent.
Yeah. I mean, I think some of it too, and I'd be curious in your thoughts on this, when we talk about, like, we've talked about this before, of like, where would you place in a conversation like that some of the more of the responsibility on the actors or the incentives of the system in which the actors are acting, right? Because if I'm a homeowner theoretically, I bought that house with the goal of selling it for more than I bought it for, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So when I bought the house in, 1990, right, and we have casino time, I'm like, bet. This is exactly what I wanted to do, right? And that's what the system incentivizes, right? The system doesn't incentivize me being like, well, I'll sell it at cost.
Yeah,
right?
no,
you know
absolutely. Yeah, no, that's true.
And so I wonder that, like, I think about this all the time with, like, even the real estate agents of, like, them waiving a 3% commission here and there is obviously great and commendable. But does it move the needle at all? Because it doesn't help someone buy. How often is that the difference between someone buying a house and not, right? You're not looking at that purchase and being like, okay, cool, this $8,000 was the tipping point versus me, the homeowner, who's like, I want to get 85% on this purchase.
Well, I think it can move the needle, particularly for people who are first-time home buyers, because for them, waiving that commission, that might be their closing costs, right? Like that might be they might be able to make their money do yoga in another way that would help them be able to close on that house. Right. So I do think that does move the needle for individuals. I think that the broader issue, if I were to get in the weeds, with the caveat that I'm not a real estate professional, but if I had to think about what it was, I would say that the issue is not individuals. It is
systemic.
It's systemic, and it's also it's larger corporations that are acting as people. Yeah. Right.
Talking about like the institutional investors.
Yeah, exactly. Like institutional investors that are like, you are a business. You are not a person. You are not buying this house for yourself to live in.
Houses to raise prices.
Exactly. I'm not mad at somebody who's paying money over asking for a house they're going to live in. Yeah. That's on you. You know, survival of the fittest. That's you. Right. But what I do think is crazy is this is not a house that you are going to be living in.
You're just buying houses.
You're just hoarding wealth like a dragon. Right. That's crazy. Let's not do that.
I have been waiting for like 5 years for the housing market to crash. I don't know if you can say that, but I can't get a house till it crashes. So that's what I'm.
Look, T-Pain and Kesha are making music again, so you might. T-Pain and Kesha. Really? Yeah, they're making music again.
Together?
Yes, exactly.
First of all, excellent. Second of all, this quick Google search says that private equity firms potentially will own about 40% of the single-family real estate market in the next 5 years.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. The issue is
40% is huge.
Huge. Yeah. It's huge. That's huge.
Huge.
Exactly. That's why I'm not mad at people. I don't care if Joe over here,
as long as you're living there,
does that.
That's a lot.
Heck, Joe over here could have 2 houses. He could have one that was his and one as an investment property. I'm not particularly mad at him. Yeah. But if you're somebody and you own, like in places like Georgia and stuff like that, you have single corporations that own
a block,
huge swaths, and they're able to, do a little they're able to therefore set their own price because they have the supply. Sure. People always need housing, so there's always demand there. Yeah. As my economics professor would say, do the diagram. Like sure. Sure. You can do it. Yeah. And that's not necessarily excellent. But sorry, as like a tangent. But I mean it's frustrating, but it's also really, really interesting to be able to like witness and kind of see what is going on.
Do you have, and again, I think we need to rename this show like It's a Tangent.
That'd be fun. That'd be fun.
That's what it is. It's just a show of tangents.
Yeah.
But to your point, I think, and in your work with the Haven, I mean, it seems like there's fundamentally that's a conversation that has been going on for years in Charlottesville, right? Mm-hmm. And whether it's a conversation about homelessness or affordable housing or the intersection between the two, I feel like we have made, if you want to call it progress, on the top end, right? Everyone's houses are more expensive, right?
Yes.
We're doing that thing. Mm-hmm. Is that reciprocally manifesting itself in any change on the lower end, right? So, if you're saying, I was sitting in this Keller Williams office and I'm watching the real estate market explode, I'm watching people's houses sell, I'm watching all these agents do their thing, then I go to a board meeting at the Haven. Are both things moving up and to the right? Because it almost feels like this one's going that way. Mm-hmm. This one, maybe at best, is stable.
I would say, well, I think it's harder to tell because also Charlottesville, it can't get any bigger. Like Charlottesville, the city, it can't get any larger.
Like you mean boundary-wise?
Yeah, like boundary-wise. Like it is what it is. Like
Yeah.
like our housing is going to be a little bit crazy here just because we physically cannot
That's right.
put much more here due to like zoning and whatever and what have you. So I think that there are other things that are affecting it other than just price. Price is a big one, but also you can't make the price go down if the supply has to be fixed because if you can't generate more supply to meet your demand, then your price will stay where it is. And I think it's unfortunate, but it also like, unless somebody has figured out a way to make more land, that's kind of where you are. And which is why, you see people that are like no longer living in Charlottesville City proper. And so they're now living in Albemarle County. People are moving to Greene. A lot of people are moving to the surrounding counties, which is great.
Yeah.
Greene is doing a lot of, that's where I'm.
Yeah, there's a lot.
They have a lot of revitalization. They're building.
Is that right?
Yeah, they're building like 3 townhome 3 communities out there.
Is that right?
Yeah, I'm waiting for them to finish up and see what I can afford.
Yeah. And
I also realized that, oh my God, most people got 2 incomes. I'm a single person. Oh my God, I didn't know I couldn't buy no house as a single person.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're a sink currently.
Yeah.
Single income, no kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are what? I'm a
dink. I don't know.
I'm a DIWK. I'm a dual income with kids, with too many kids. DIWK.
So you leave Keller, and then what do you do next?
And actually, like, while I was in the process of leaving Keller, I saw, like, when I knew, it's time, I saw the provider network coordinator job open up at Network2Work. And I was like, man.
So
wouldn't that be a full circle moment?
Yeah, so full circle. So full circle. And so I go and I interview for it. And first of all, seeing the way that the organization has grown since I was a job seeker, like the platform didn't exist when I was a job seeker. It was all on paper. So, and referrals were just kind of like, yeah, I know somebody that works over, like you would probably qualify for it. But so for all of that to be automated in a singular system, excellent, beautiful. And then for it to just continue to grow the way that it has and to expand to more things, because like when I was a job seeker for Network2Work, there was kind of one class at a time that we would do. So we had a batch of CNAs that went through, and then we would do like a batch of CDL drivers and stuff. Now it's, if there is a class going on at Piedmont and there is a training and you want to take it and you want to find a job afterward, come talk to us. And I think that it's really great that we're able to serve so many more people. And I do think that it absolutely does move the needle, right? Because the other issue, and this is with, kind of housing and everything, is just people aren't making enough money.
Right.
People are, overemployed and underpaid. People are working 2 and 3 jobs just to make like the bare minimum to potentially be able to survive, maybe. And people who do not have support, and I was able to have support to, be able to go to college and things like that because I went into the military. So my college was able to be paid for, and I was able to receive a stipend from the military to pay for my child care while I was taking classes. If there was if that support did not exist, I would not have my degree right now. Right. And so what Network2Work is doing now is giving people the support to be able to pay, like if you're in a full-time training and you're, for example, the CDL class at Piedmont, it is Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5.
So you can't work.
You can't work. It's a month-long class, and when you finish it, it's really easy to get a job with your CDL, and you're going to make significantly more money than you would have been making before. Right. And you're going to see, we've seen with some people make like over 100% wage gain by getting their CDL and things like that. So if we're able to, for that month that you're in class, help you pay for the class, but also make sure, you know, your lights don't get cut. Mm-hmm. You can get your your rent, your housing stays stable for just that month. Then by the time you're done, you can kind of leap off and jump and you'll be okay. But if you don't have that safety net beforehand, there is no way for you to move upwardly. There is no upward mobility.
Yeah, it's a good point. I think we often over-rotate on like, okay, we'll just go back to school.
Right.
How? It's like,
How?
okay, cool. Right? Like, I would love to do that.
Yeah.
You know, and
sounds fun.
Yeah. No, but I think that's a real thing. And I think that for many of us, and I would put myself in that category, I put you in that category, folks for whom education has benefited us. Like, we have seen the fruits of like going to elite universities, and we have profited from that as we've gotten older, right?
Absolutely.
So I think sometimes we have this initial point of view that like, oh, just go get a degree. Like, it works. Like, it works. Just go do the thing. Yeah. Right? Without, like you said, understanding any of the other complementary parts and pieces, or even being able to look at ourselves and understand the other inputs that we had when we did the thing. Right? So when my wife went back to school for the first time to get her degree, like, we were married.
Yeah.
It's like I was around.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so just the simple act of having another person frees up time if you have a kid or a dog or a house or any other stuff, right? And so I think your point's really well taken. And I think what's great about this program, and I think people are getting hip to this, of like, how do we make sure that the other bases are covered?
Yes.
Right? Because we tend to do this with all things. Like, hey, can you come participate in this focus group? And they're like, cool. And we're like, it's at 1 o'clock on Wednesday. And they're like, well, why didn't anybody show up? It's like, because they're at work.
They're
right? Like, unless you're a salaried knucklehead like I am, like, you can't just bail.
You can't wander away from something.
That's right. But I genuinely, I mean, it sounds so obvious, and when you do it a lot, you're like, yeah, duh, this is part of what we do. But I genuinely think that so much of that is still kind of baked in. I mean, I think as humans, we are just myopic as we are, but I think it's great to have more organizations that are really trying to be more comprehensive about, like, in order to open these doors, we have to make sure the other doors also stay open.
Absolutely.
Right? Instead of this kind of like, go train to be a nurse. And they're like, yeah, cool. You're going to like feed my children? What are we talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
I love a meeting that's like childcare and food provided at after hours. I'm like,
100%.
Yeah, please don't make me bring my child down there. I don't got no child. But please don't bring my hypothetical child down there after work. To now I can't feed them. Now but I have to be here to do this other thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's like, now I just gotta stay struggling. I gotta go back to the house. I gotta figure out dinner. I'm like, I'm not even going to y'all thing, even if it would help me, if it could help me.
That's
exactly.
Right. That's right.
No, and I think that's a big thing, and I think that's part of why I love what I do, because for one of the things that we talk about frequently, I feel like in like the nonprofit situation is like lived experience, right? And like I get it. I was and still am a single mother, right? I got 2 kids.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like I get like when you need to like all of the programs that I am referring people to. I did that. You know, I was on WIC, I was on SNAP. Like I've navigated all of those systems. And so not only do you have to think about, what are the supports here for somebody, but also I get, and this is the other thing that I think Network2Work does really well, is I get that it's really annoying to have to go to all these places and to ask for help and to go to 35 gazillion different places, and you may or may not qualify. I get that, you know, it could be embarrassing to ask for help, because we are a society that is that keeps telling people, if you just pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. I don't got no straps.
I don't got no boots.
I don't have any boots. I don't have any straps.
I always think about that. That is that one thing you're like, come on. Okay, y'all used to 30 years ago during the Great Depression, FDR, but come on. People don't got no boots.
There are no boots. There are no
and
straps.
people know it,
There's
though.
nothing.
I feel like people who are saying that know you don't have boots, and that's why they can say it. It's like, if we didn't want you to have boots anyway.
Well,
but if we tell you that it's an individual problem,
it's back to this gross misrepresentation of your own experience.
Yeah,
right.
It's crazy.
I mean, I think we love to be the heroes of our own story, right? But you didn't do any of the stuff you're telling me to do.
Exactly.
Right. You know, this article came out recently in the Daily Progress about this walking bus thing, about kids walking to school, and all the comments were like, I walked to school, like I worked at a coal mine when I was 8, and like all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, all right, first of all, no, you didn't.
Yeah, right.
Like,
congratulations on
old
going
people
uphill
love to
both
talk
ways.
about walking them.
Exactly right.
Old people love to talk about that 5-mile walk
I
to school.
cross country skied to a 1-room schoolhouse, and I'm like,
well, good for you.
Okay.
Good for you.
But I think this is the thing.
I-95 wasn't there.
That's right. That's right. But we talked about this, and I think we're at an interesting point where I think when we talk about kind of this mismatch of, call it values or priorities, even generationally, like we have this thing where because it was harder for you doesn't necessarily mean it needs to be as hard for me.
Exactly.
And I think we over-rotate in both ways, right? I think we have kind of the older heads that are like, you're not trying hard enough, which part of that is true. Right?
Absolutely.
Like part of it is true. And you've got kids that are kind of coming into that age of teenagerhood. I talk to teenagers sometimes. I'm like, y'all can't do anything. Like, this is crazy, right?
Why?
But then on the other end, also, there is that theory of like, okay, cool. Like, you know, things progress. Technology progresses. Time progresses. Things should get fundamentally, like, it shouldn't have to be as hard for me. And that should be okay. You shouldn't be salty about that.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Like, I want my children, I want their friends, I want everybody that I interact with after interacting with me to have an easier life. That's what I want.
Do you think about that, having gone through this program and now on the other end? Like, do you look at it and you're like, you know what? Y'all got it light.
I mean,
I was doing this on pen and paper. I was sending stuff.
Oh, you couldn't push the check button on the computer?
Exactly right.
Well, I had to write it out. I couldn't even type.
Yeah, you couldn't log on to the system. Right? I had to
it's always
going to
be that, though.
Schuyler's house.
It's always going to be that, though.
You know, like, I mean, is there a little bit of that? And even glibly, right? But I think there is a feeling of like, you're like, I worked really, really hard for a thing that I am now working hard to make better for you. What's the holdup?
Well, and I don't think it's necessarily that. I think that the only frustration that I have is that I know it works.
Mm-hmm.
I know it works if you do the thing.
Sure.
Right.
I can do everything for you, but I can't make you do the thing.
Yeah, sure.
And so it's not a frustration in that it's easier. I love that it's easier for people.
Sure.
Because I think that the easier that we make things for people, the less barriers that exist for them, and the more that people can achieve things. But at the same time, like I can tell you until I'm blue in the face all of the ways for you to do something, right? But I can't sit there with you and do it.
Right.
And that's really been the I would say that's like the one thing that I'm like, dang, man. But when you get somebody that does it, that does all of the things, it is so incredibly rewarding and satisfying to, you know, have seekers come back and be like, well, you know, this is something that really helped me and now I'm here. Or, you know, like we had a seeker who came in who was on the article, is like a front page article that the Daily Progress did about the homelessness in Charlottesville. It's a picture of his name is Benjamin, but it's picture Benjamin.
Downtown.
I
know exactly what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. He like just kind of wandered into Network2Work back when we were on Preston, and he would be there all the time. And he did the stuff, and he got his CDL license, and he is housed, and he did all the things. And he just recently came back because I was thinking to myself, I haven't seen Benjamin in a while. Like he got his driver's license, he got his ID, he got everything he needed, he got all of his stuff out of storage, and he showed up with a birthday cake because it was his birthday, and he was like, "Hey, I'm here!" And I was like, "Dude, what are you doing?" Like he had a haircut, he looked so nice. I was so excited.
Wow.
And that's the thing is like when it does work for somebody. And when somebody really does do the things and they do follow through with it and you can see the change that exists for them, it's the best thing. Yeah. It really is. It is the most satisfying thing to kind of see.
If you are just jumping in, this is Envision Radio from the United Way of Greater Charlottesville and City of Promise News Radio 98.9, 1070 AM WINA. Price, Markey, Kelsey Waters here, and big thanks to our sponsor and friend, Jefferson School Foundation. Talk to me a little bit about time, right? And I think we have sometimes like a hard time understanding that like that whole Benjamin story that you told in 15 seconds is what? 5 years, 8 years?
Man, that was let's see, that's pretty much, that was at least 2 years. Like it took time.
Right? And so can you talk about that not only from the participant side, but from the sort of modal side, right? I think we are obviously a society of very short attention spans and instant gratification, right? I think that we are a sort of nonprofit practitioner ecosystem that typically overpromises and underdelivers vis-a-vis time.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? We're going to fix poverty today. We're going to, teach kids to read tomorrow. We're going to finish food security by Friday. How do we create an environment whereby everyone understands that, like, sort of we are what we are able to consistently do?
think that a lot of it is really just transparency about like timelines, right? So like I always tell people, hey man, this will work. You got to do things, and it'll take a minute, right? Like just even still getting one of the big time sucks that I didn't think about with my job seekers, but is a huge one that I'm now kind of warning people about is, okay, cool, you did the training, you applied for the job. It's still going to take that employer like 2 months to get back to, like, for you to go through the whole employment process. I am so sorry. There is nothing like that I can do to make them move faster. I really wish I could. But really being transparent about, like, even after you do all of the right stuff, it's going to take a second for that kind of not necessarily reward, because it's something that you earned, right? But it's going to take a second for that net positive to come. And I think that, you know, people are really impatient. I'm really impatient.
Well, especially when you're in that mode.
Exactly.
Where, like,
when you're in like crisis, like you need your stuff to be together now.
Right. That's right.
Because you do.
Like, you do. Yeah.
There's nothing else for it. You do. And it's not and it can be really frustrating, both as the person who is helping, but also I can't even really imagine as the person who is like experiencing.
Right.
We used to have a saying when I was in the military called "hurry up and wait."
Yeah, sure.
And that's a lot of what it is. It's you're hurrying up so you can get all the stuff done, so you can give people the paperwork, get the certification, and then you do all the things. You make this beautiful cake, you hand it to somebody, and you go here, and the judges for the cake are not even there. Your Emerald Lagasse is still back here somewhere eating somebody else's like dessert that they made.
Yep.
And they haven't even had a chance to get to yours yet. And there is a lot of that, and that is really frustrating. And I think that as long as we kind of communicate that this is what it is and these are realistic timelines, and here are some stop gaps, because you do have to have stop gaps. And I always tell people, like, this is not a permanent situation, but this is a little Band-Aid I can give to you. Like, for example, I have another story. Yay. I have a student who's really cool, and she is having some car problems, and we have loaner vehicles at Network2Work, right? And first of all, our loaner vehicle list is really, really long. I know it's really, really long. I'm sure somebody listening is like, it's really long. It is. It's long, and it's because we give people cars for 6 months, right? So in any given year, I can only turn around a car to 2 people.
Sure.
Right? And there's more need than we have resources right now. She is on this list. She got a really, really good job with Postal Service. And she needs transportation because the Postal Service expects for you to go to Richmond for your training when you first get the job. So now we're trying to figure out, like, I'm like, I know that you're on the list for this, that your number is actually up for this, but this car is in the shop. I can't make the mechanic go faster. You know, so here's what I can do in the meantime. And so we set her up with some Ubers and got her rides and stuff like that. But still being really transparent about, this is what it is. I'm sorry that it's not the exact correct fix yet, but we can at least do something to make it easier. I think that at least, even if it doesn't make it better, at least you know that I see you and we're trying to achieve this goal, even if there are other time-based things or things that are outside of our control that we can't really adjust, right? And a lot of it's really about being flexible and seeing where there's like a little crack where you can get into something.
If people wanted to access your services or get in touch with you about Network2Work, how do they get in touch with you?
So the easiest way is to go to N2Work, WORK.org. And from there, it's a job first perspective. So it's basically a posting of all of the trainings that exist that match to jobs. You pick which one you like and you want to do. you fill out the intake form, and then an appointment gets scheduled, and then you would just come in and do the intake, and we kind of hit the ground running from there.
Is it income based? Do you have to make a certain?
There is no income restriction. Okay. There's no income restriction. The only slight restriction, and it's not really Network2Work per se, it's just where we can refer you to, is like if another organization has an income restriction, I might not be able to refer you there.
Right.
Or if another organization has a geographic, that's a big one that we see, especially now that we're at on main campus at Piedmont, because we get a lot of students that come from over the mountain.
Okay.
And so they're like, yeah, can I? And I was like, yeah, that's cool, but not over here. Like there is another version of this over there, and you have to talk to those ones because the funding is restricted by geography.
That's right. Are you still doing photography?
No, not really.
What? Do you miss it?
A little bit. I like looking at other people's pictures that I don't have to make.
I would have swore you had a camera. You're gonna have a camera out every other time.
No, I wasn't really. I loved the journalism part of photojournalism. So taking the pictures was cool. I like this. I like talking to people. And so, no, I don't do that. What I do is I am the co-leader of my daughter's Girl Scout troop. That's my main external.
Y'all tying knots and starting fires.
Oh, yeah, man. I got so many patches.
How many patches you got?
Goodness. I have, I would say like 6 or 7. My baby girl, though, this is her second year. She has a rack of
How many you have?
0.
What?
Do I seem like a Girl Scout girl?
You could
growing
be.
up in Orange County? Yes.
Who knows?
Y'all.
What?
Just because you live in the country, you gonna do some country stuff, but you ain't gonna. Some people I'm averse. I'm like, I ain't finna.
I'm averse.
I'm not gonna
Screaming.
I'm not gonna do this. There's something else this country that people do. It got 4 clovers on it. The clover.
4-H.
4-H.
That's a big one.
People love 4-H out there. It's not really even Girl Scouts. It's 4-H.
Yeah,
they
that's
milking cows and plowing fields. I don't know what they do. I went to a 4-H day once. They was doing something.
Describing manual labor.
That's what
it is. Now I'm starting to think they just skirting child labor laws.
Look, 4-H is that's the thing.
Don't get us sued by the 4-H
No,
club.
I'm sorry. I was sitting here thinking,
child labor laws. Lord.
Isn't it just labor for kids?
Youth development program offering clubs and activities ages 5 to 18.
Fun.
It doesn't say anything about child labor.
Yeah,
it seems super cool.
You have to raise like the animal yourself and then do all of the. It's really.
Is it really?
Yeah. So depending on what you're doing, like one of my girls does it, and her 4-H isn't animal husbandry; it's animal knowledge. So they go to like bowls where they ask them like Jeopardy questions
about like animals.
Yeah, but it gets really specific. Like one was if you have like a horse of this color and a horse of this color, and then they have a child, like what color will the horse be?
Not
like,
genetics.
It's Punnett
like
square.
Yeah, like they're really out here doing like Punnett squares and stuff like that. It's really interesting.
Do I need to be in a troop to get a badge?
I mean, technically, you could buy one online.
No, I don't want to buy one online, but say one of them
She shows up next week with a whole bunch of Girl Scout
Is it like
what?
There's a list, there's a page that says if you start a fire, you would get a badge.
Oh, yeah.
Because I can't get no badges now. I'm not in a troop.
You're just out in your yard, just digging holes and starting fires and stuff.
I mean, that's how I get my. I wasn't a Girl Scout when
that's
I was
what I'm
girl,
saying.
So
like
now I just be volunteering. I'm like, hey, can I get let me a patch?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, can I still get patches?
Yeah, I mean, you could look at what the qualifications are for them, and then in theory, buy a patch yourself if you wanted to after you earned it.
Yeah, that sounds like something I could do.
Yeah, well,
something easy. I gotta do something. I don't know. I fished. Is that one of them?
Maybe. It depends. I would have to look it up. Do you know how many there are?
I sent a letter.
Many.
It's like that. Is it that type of stuff?
So
I sent a letter.
Hold on. Girl Scout badges. Let's see.
Like Y'all type of stuff.
Like first aid is a big one for the girls.
Is that like dressing a wound or something?
So it varies on age group. So for the littler ones, it was just like, can you create a splint? This year, I think the girls learned tourniquets. Like we're also not playing though with our
y'all getting them ready for the future.
Yeah, we're like, hey, because like, what happens if you're hiking and then like something happens to you?
You could be the opposite of a hiker and not hike.
Exactly.
You could do that.
Hike. You could just refuse. But if you were out in the woods, I told you there are a lot.
Oh my gosh, this is like a whole
This year we did our detective badge with the girls. So
is it a murder mystery dinner? How they gonna get that?
So we had to learn about like the different types of like evidence and stuff like that like organizations would use. We had the girls do fingerprinting.
Someone commit a crime.
Yes.
You can get away with it.
That's good.
Criminal activity badge.
But there's like a drawing one. There are a lot of different kinds of animals. And then there are some that they earn like not as a troop but individually. So like practice with a purpose. If you are a girl who is a Girl Scout and you are active in like a sport as an extracurricular or something,
you get your badge.
You can get a badge for that. Or like not even a sport. I think you can also get it for like music but anything that you have to like really kind of.
There is a badge for everything.
There is. There really is. There's
I just
badge
sent
for
you
everything.
a link.
I'm gonna start my badge. I'm gonna start getting badges for
4x.
myself personally.
You should.
I mean,
think it's something fun
this
to do.
PDF I just sent you is a 4x50 chart.
I don't know how we got here.
I don't know.
Because she was talking about one of her kids as a Girl Scout.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's my main, and then my son does squash, and so those
not squash.
Yeah, at the Boys and Girls Club. Shout out to them.
Shout out to them.
I've been to that
I'm on
spot.
I'm on the advisory board in Orange.
He is so serious about the squash too. Like he loves it.
Is that right?
Yeah, he got a racket for Christmas. Like he's really serious.
Is that
about
right? That's
sport.
great.
Yeah,
That's fun.
And they've been. This is their second year at the Boys and Girls Club, I think, and. It is actually no. This is their first year because this will be their first summer. Yeah, and it has been like life changing.
I'm so happy. I'm on the board, the advisory board of the Boys and Girls Club in Orange. So
yeah, no, it really
life
has been.
Yeah, that new spot's gorgeous.
Is it the Almar campus?
Yeah, the Almar campus.
Yes.
No, that's
James
and
Pierce
that's what they do, man.
Co. Yeah.
They love all of their extracurriculars and they love being at the club because of all the other stuff they can do. Like Cecilia's in like a cooking club there.
They would have loved you. They would have loved your testimony. They gonna call you mad and they clip.
Listen, clip this and start charging people for it.
They might ask me, can you? I heard.
Yeah.
I'll ask it. I'll clip it for y'all. Send it their way.
That will be $1,000 when I edit it
out. But no, they absolutely love it, and that's been really great. And then like soccer and stuff like that. We really, most of my extracurriculars now are just my
kid
children.
Stuff. Yeah, sure.
What are they doing?
That's how you de-stress from work.
Yeah, I do that. I crochet and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, you crochet?
Oh yeah. But
I love crochet.
Do you crochet?
No, I don't crochet, but I buy crochet stuff. I got a couple chickens. I got a duck.
Ooh. Oh, like a stuffed animal.
Yeah.
Oh.
I've been to the farmer's market buying people's crochet animals.
You go to that farmer's market at Ix?
Yeah, and at just the first week of the lot.
Oh, Market Street?
Yeah.
I like that one. Here's the only problem with that one in the summer. It's baking.
Yeah,
it is.
It
is. So hot.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love me some crochet. Every time somebody got some crochet, I'm like, did you make that? Yeah. Most times they be like, no, I bought it. Oh, just like me. You're just like me.
You're just like me. One of us.
One of the buyers, not the makers.
What do you make?
Mostly like blankets and stuff like that.
I love that.
You
don't got no Etsy page?
No. It's not. I'm not that good at it, and I mostly just do it because it's both my the twins do some sort of variation of it. So like Oliver, he'll knit sometimes, but Cecilia she's really crafty, man. She's quick with her fingers.
Yeah.
So I'm like trying to like make up new patterns so that way I can show her things.
Yeah.
I'm like, what if you?
You're getting to that age with your kids where they're gonna start getting better than you at stuff. It's like they edge into that thing where like first comes decimals, then you're at algebra, then you're like, well.
Yeah,
that's it.
They're really they're starting to do this thing now where they're introducing me to music that they discovered.
Sure.
Oh,
which is just sampled music that you listen to.
Well, not even that.
Oh, really?
Sometimes it's like old stuff. Like my son really likes, and not even old. It's old to them. It's like that episode of Abbott Elementary where they thought "In the Club" by 50 Cent was an oldie.
Yep.
But my son goes, yeah, Mom, here's a song that I think you would really, really like.
And what was it?
And he goes,
I can't wait to hear what this is.
We have, the Alexas. And he goes, Alexa, play Numb by Linkin Park.
Oh, this is crazy. This is crazy.
I scream.
Wow.
Because
Amazing.
I was like, what, you discovered it by yourself? But also, sir, how dare you quote these old magics to me like I wasn't there when they were written?
When they were written. Okay, Narnia. Look, don't speak the law to me, witch.
That's exactly.
I was there when they were written.
Exactly.
That's so funny.
But yeah, no. So that's pretty much it. Oh, and then we also we have a plot at the PVCC Community Garden.
Oh, cool.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, this is our
So
first
many
year
hobbies.
doing
There's so many hobbies.
Yeah,
Busy.
we be out here because also I don't like when my kids are just like
get the
bored
kids out
staring
the house.
at me.
Get outside. Day of play.
90% of all the stuff when you talk to parents like yourself that are doing a lot of things, it's like, I would argue it's, 20% like it's good for my kids. It's 80% self-preservation.
Yeah, I'm like,
right?
hey man,
It's
you want to
like-
do something else? Let's go do something else.
That's why I'm glad I don't got no kids. I would give that kid an iPad. I can't just be running around town at the damn garden and at the soccer practice and the garden. I'm like, just take this
Listen,
iPad.
that's what it is. It's just like you just got to do stuff.
Yeah, you just keep doing the stuff,
Yeah.
and then but it pans out because then they become like well-rounded
Yeah,
individuals
that's true.
that just know lots of stuff. Like I did a lot of stuff when I was a kid.
Same.
so-
I did a lot of stuff
Be
too.
knowing random stuff. Like, where did you learn that?
Yeah,
where
like,
did you
why
pick
are
that
you-
up? What are you asking
what
me
are you
about
talking about?
photosynthesis? for?
Yeah,
Like, what in the
exactly.
world?
Like what is this?
Oh Lord, you good? Is that you
Yeah.
give me that? You give me that? Get out of here look.
Yep.
Oh, dun dun.
There's a point at the end of every episode where she's just like, why are you looking at me so intensely? And then I look at the clock. I'm like, oh. And it's
Oh,
always, I don't
sorry.
know if you have a clock, but it's
I do
always
have a clock.
right around the same time. You know how when you
mhm.
know someone's looking at you, you can just like feel it? Listen,
Yeah.
the side of my face gets hot.
If looks could kill, that's what they say about me.
Yeah. I'm just like, oh, that must be it. My left side is
warm.
tingling.
I have
Yeah.
I have time anxiety.
Do you?
I do. I'm
Just in
always
general,
20
like
minutes. I'm always 20 minutes late. Early to everything. I sit outside and wait so people don't know that I've been 20 minutes early. Like, I am a person that needs to be.
Wait, you want to be early, but you don't want people to
I don't
know
want people
that
to
you're early?
know that I'm early.
That's
Like, because it's also embarrassing. Like, 5 minutes is good, but I was here 30 minutes ago, but I'm walking. I saw you walking up, so I'm gonna walk up too. Like, I just got here.
You know what? That's fair. I have the opposite of that. It's
CPT?
called- Girl, yes.
What's the opposite of needing to be everywhere 30 minutes early? To be everywhere 30 minutes
I don't know
late?
what time it is. I've never
Time
known
blindness.
what time it is.
It's called time blindness.
Yes.
Time blindness.
Yeah.
I don't know what time it is. Like literally, I drove to Piedmont today. And then my phone said, ting, ting, in 15 minutes. And I said, oh, no.
I mean, I do that. I have to look when I wake up at the day, right? Because
Yeah.
I do that. I mean, if it's not on that calendar,
I don't know about it.
I
don't
do
know
live and die
about
by the calendar, though.
Oh, yes, Lord. Yes. I
Yeah.
mean, even to the point where I'm like, I tell my wife, I'm like, hey, the days I have to pick up our daughter, I was like, you have to put that on the calendar.
Or she won't get picked up.
Or
That's
that
fair.
homegirl will be out there on the playground.
Just chilling.
So I buy that.
Yeah.
All right. Kelsey, thank you for hanging out with us.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me. This was really fun.
This is awesome. If you guys have ideas for the show, want to get in touch with us, remember, check us out on all platforms on social media at United Way Seaville, at City of Promise, or drop a note in the inbox, Envision at UnitedWaySeaville.org. Run back contact information for Network to Work if folks are listening and either interested in, either partnering or joining or being a part of the program.
Absolutely. If you go to www.n2work.org, that is the best way to email us, or that's the best way to get in contact with us as a seeker. And then also my office email, which is an excellent way to get in contact, is kwaters, WATERS, at pvcc.edu.
Beauty. And we get support on this show from our friends at the Jefferson School Foundation, the proud owner of the Jefferson School City Center, where education, innovation, and community engagement come together to build a brighter future, dedicated to preserving and sustaining the historic Jefferson School. And if you like what you hear, share it with your friends, subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you get podcasts for new episodes every week. And of course, the best way to support our wonderful local nonprofits, make a contribution, Network to Work, City of Promise, the United Way of Greater Seaville. That's how we continue to do our community-based work. And of course, this show. For Marky and Kelsey, this is Price. We'll see you next week.
Bye.